Hello, everybody. I'm Chris Williams. He is Tim Sitzman. We are at Mr. B's, 1995 Northwest 86th Street in beautiful Clive, Iowa, on a beautiful spring day. Tim,
It is gorgeous to see the sunshine in it, and that makes us all feel better.
you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Spring football.
Oh, it's happening, isn't it?
It is happening.
I read about it this morning in the paper, and it looks good for those clones.
Yeah, well, everybody's real excited. Spring football is underway. You got spring clothes out here at Mr. B's. Got a lot of good stuff. Really set a guy up for some golf. I saw some polos over there.
You know what? There's the golf courses are drying up, and we have some polos for them. We got a nice thing going on right now. We have a little trunk show. We call it trunk show because we bring in a rep for Southwick, and we're selling some suits, and we have some coats for winter and spring. So we're having a big day here at Mr. B's Thursday, the 25th of March.
All right.
So we're excited about our store. I'm prejudiced. It looks fantastic.
It does.
It's full of goods, and we'd like to invite you in. But I read this morning about the clones got to go down to the State House too, and
yeah, I heard about that.
And Coach Rhoads, got to speak in front of the House and the Senate, and he did a nice job. And congratulations to last year's football team. And spring ball's going on, so we're talking football a little bit, Chris.
I know.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, and Paul Rhoads' press conference which would have been Tuesday. Sorry, I get my days mixed up.
No, that's all right. I did too.
He alluded to the fact that Jerome Tiller, the backup quarterback, is going to be out for a couple of weeks.
I read that this morning, and I've heard that on several stations. But I think Arnaud's still the guy.
He's the guy.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, and there was a notion out there, and Coach Rhoads even alluded to it, that there was going to be a quarterback competition, that he thought Jerome Tiller could. Go read the quote at CycloneFanatic.com. We have a story about it up there. But my theory, this isn't going to be a quarterback controversy. I mean, this is at the end of the day, Tim. I'm going to ask you this, as a Cyclone fan, okay? You're going to line up against Nebraska next year.
Who are you going to put in?
Who gives you the better chance to win?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to go with Arnaud. And that's my feeling. I also feel from a coach's standpoint, when those kids get out on the field on spring ball, it's a competition. Mm-hmm. Everybody's competing, and I don't really believe that any job's safe.
That's good.
That's
how it should be.
And I think that's how Coach Rhoads looks at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't think there's a controversy at all. I think you go with your best player, but you got to have somebody ready to play as good or maybe better than Arnaud when you start that season.
Yeah.
And that's where Tiller comes in. He's got to be ready to go.
And Tiller did a great job last year. When Austin was out with the injury, he led that team into Nebraska with the win. But people forget he had under 50 passing yards in the game too.
But one great one.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not sitting here saying Jerome Tiller is a poor quarterback. He's the future of Iowa State football. But right now, ask yourself that question. If you're going into a game right now, who gives your team the better chance to win, Austin Arnaud or Jerome Tiller? Yeah. Right now it's Arnaud. Tiller's going to be a great quarterback in the meantime.
Absolutely, and I think we're both on the same page there. I really feel that there isn't a controversy. I think he wants those young gentlemen to compete at the highest level. So he says, hey, we got to see what happens when we put on the helmets. Mm-hmm. But Tiller's got to be ready to go, and the depth chart has to grow for that team for them to compete in the Big 12.
Yeah.
There's no question, and you and I have talked about that. The depth is going to come over time. It's not going to be here, and we got to be patient as fans and watch this. If we can come back with a season as good as we had this last season, we'd all should be happy.
They're going to be real happy.
We'll be real happy.
Partying in the streets of Ames that they can roll off another bowl.
There's no question, and we have the right coach in place, guys, and we got to just give him some time. It's going to be a good campaign.
All right, Tim. Well, hey, invite everybody here to come check out the spring lineup, and you can see behind us. You did a little redoing here.
We are set for spring, and we'd like to invite you in. I'd like to put a shout out to the Cyclone gals as they go against the Huskies of Connecticut. It's going to be a tough one, but I think Coach Finley did a nice job on the news. He just said, hey, it's just a game. Let's go play. You
ready to pick the upset? Are you going to pick the upset today, Tim? Go on record?
You know what? I'm not going to pick the upset. I still would go with the Huskies, but I think it's going to be much closer than we think. Mm-hmm. I think they're ready to play. They did a nice job. Had a tough game against Green Bay the other night at home, but I think they're ready to play. The Huskies look awfully good.
Yeah,
and it's hard to compete at that level, but I think we can compete at that level. And I'd say it's a 10-point game at the end.
A good friend of mine, Kirk, he also writes for the website here. He emailed me yesterday. And you notice how off the Cyclone women were on
Right.
Tuesday. They couldn't hit anything in that
Right.
first half. He said
Right.
maybe they're saving some threes for UConn.
Well,
You buy that?
Well, I think there's. I don't know if they're saving anything, but
Yeah.
I do buy the fact that they can shoot the three.
They can.
I'm also buying the fact that UConn's played some of the best teams in the nation through the year. Their schedule's pretty tough.
Yep.
They're going to be ready to play. But, you know, we saw what happened with UNI and Kansas. Anything can happen. That's why they still play the game. But I would go on record as saying I don't see an upset. I really don't.
Neither do
I think it's a 10, 12-point game in favor of the Huskies. But I'm on the Cyclone side. I'd love to see an upset just like I wanted to see UNI beat Kansas, and that happened. So UNI's got a tougher road, but we're not here to talk about UNI. We're here to talk about Clones.
That's all right, though. That's a big story. And even
Big story in the
Cyclone
state of Iowa.
Even Cyclone fans are interested.
Well, they should be, and I'm interested to see if the Clone women can get to the Elite Eight, and that's possible.
We sure hope so. Tim,
Yeah.
thanks for your time today.
You know, it's fun to have you here when the sun's out, Chris, and thanks for shouting out for Mr. B's, and stop in and see us. We'd love to have you come in and share the fact that you listen to these two of us talk about Cyclone basketball, football, whatever we want to talk about. But come in and say hello.
All right. Thank you very much, Tim Sitzman. I'm Chris Williams here on our vlog from Mr. B's 1995 Northwest 86th Street in Clive, Iowa.